Have you ever felt that? Like you're trying to connect with someone, but something's just not clicking? We all have these little social safety nets, right? Habits we fall back on. But what if those very habits are actually turning you into, well, social kryptonite? Let's unpack 7 of these common traps that might be getting in your way, and, most importantly, how to fix them.
Yeah, this quote really hits home, doesn't it? The things we do to feel safe. Glancing at our phone when we feel awkward, or just staying quiet to avoid saying the wrong thing. We think they're protecting us, but really, they're just building walls, making us seem distant and totally unapproachable.
And here's the wild part. Our brains are literally built for speed. They use this process called thin slicing. It basically means that people form a solid, lasting opinion about you in less than a single second. So, first impressions, they aren't just important. In a lot of ways, they're kind of everything. So, that leads us right into the first impression trap. How in the world are we supposed to navigate a world where judgments are made in the blink of an eye? Well, it all starts with understanding the signals we're sending out, often without even realizing we're doing it. Okay, let's just reframe this whole thing. We are not talking about deep, unchangeable personality flaws here. A much better way to think about these habits is as psychological crutches, just learned behaviors you've picked up over the years. And you know the best part about that? Anything that's been learned can be unlearned.
All right, first up, let's dive into conversational kryptonite. These are the specific habits that can stop a connection dead in its tracks, sometimes before it even has a chance to get started.
We're going to start with the interrupter. And look, maybe you do it because you're genuinely excited and you just can't help it. Or maybe it's a subconscious play for control. Either way, the message you're sending is loud and clear. What I have to say is more important than what you are saying. And that's a surefire way to make someone feel really small.
So how do you fix this without just killing all your conversational energy? Instead of talking over them, try using what linguists call cooperative overlaps. These are super simple things, like a quick, wow, or exactly. It shows you're engaged and totally on their team, but you're not hijacking the whole conversation. It's a tiny change, but believe me, the impact is huge.
The humble brag. We all know this one. I'm just so exhausted from flying first class all the time. It's that classic attempt to share good news without sounding like you're bragging. But here's the thing. Psychologically, it almost always backfires.
And here's why. Sincerity, that is the absolute bedrock of likability. When you humble brag, people can see right through the false modesty. And get this, research actually shows that a straightforward, honest brag is perceived as better than a humble brag. Why? Because at least it's sincere.
Okay, this next one is a total mind-bender. It's a phenomenon called spontaneous trait transference, and it's basically the hidden danger of gossip. What it means is, whatever traits you use to describe other people, your listeners unconsciously start to associate those exact same traits with you.
So look at how this works. If you're constantly talking about how lazy or incompetent a coworker is, people start seeing you as negative and lazy. But, and this is the really cool part, the reverse is also true. If you talk about how brilliant or kind someone is, those positive qualities reflect back on you. It's a powerful reason to maybe start practicing some positive gossip.
All right, let's move on to the unconscious red flags. These are those subtle little signals of disinterest or negativity you might be sending without ever saying a single word. Oh, we are all so guilty of this one. The digital shield. You feel awkward at a party, what do? You pull out your phone. It feels safe, like a little protective bubble. But to everybody else, it's a giant neon sign that just screams, I am unavailable. It builds a literal wall between you and any real connection.
So, the fix here is to consciously swap out that shield for what are called immediacy cues. It's easy. 1. Put the phone away, and I mean completely out of sight. 2. Turn your body, your feet, towards the person you're with. And 3. Maintain some relaxed, steady eye contact. These simple physical shifts signal confidence and genuine interest.
Next, we've got the negativity loop. Constantly complaining does more than just let off steam. It actually trains your brain to default to negative thinking. And what's worse, because of something called neuronal mirroring, your bad mood is literally contagious. People feel it, and eventually they'll just start to avoid you because it's so emotionally draining.
And then there's the mumble trap. This is when you try to avoid being judged by saying as little as possible. But here's the paradox. It totally backfires. By trying to be invisible with one-word answers, you just come across as cold or bored or uninterested, which, ironically, invites the very judgment you were trying to avoid in the first place.
This all leads us to a really crucial idea, the authenticity paradox. We are constantly told to just be yourself, right? But what if that advice is actually the whole problem?
This is what we call the raw authenticity fallacy. It's the belief that being authentic means having absolutely no filter. But sharing every single fleeting negative thought or harsh judgment isn't honesty. It's just self-indulgence. It's what can turn you into an authentic jerk.
So what's the right balance? Well, instead of that raw authenticity that's tied to your passing moods, you want to aim for adaptive authenticity. This kind of authenticity is anchored in your core values, not just how you feel in the moment. It's all about sharing thoughtfully, with empathy for the person in front of you. So, we've identified the traps. Now let's pivot to the solution. The most important thing to get here is this. Likeability is not some fixed trait that you're born with. It is a skill set. It's something you can learn. This right here is the absolute key. All of these habits are just observable behaviors. They are things you do. They are not fundamentally who you are. And that means you have the power to change them. All it takes is some conscious, deliberate practice. And if you're only going to practice one thing, please make it this one. Use people's names. When you hear a new name, just repeat it in your head once to lock it in. Then use it. Saying someone's name shows them you see them, you remember them, and that they matter. It is the absolute foundation of building a real connection.
So, I'll leave you with this question. After seeing these common traps laid out, which one of these psychological crutches do you recognize in yourself? And which one are you going to commit to dropping first? Because building better connections starts the moment you decide to let go of what no longer serves you.